It's Pickles, and this is another speedrun attempt. Now this is going to look a little strange, but I did try this many times, so I know exactly where everything is. I start off by getting a bunch of wood, going in the house and getting some food. If you notice, I did skip collecting beds because every time I got close to the end, I ended up getting killed when I was trying to place beds. I got super lucky. This chest had 5 obsidian and 6 diamonds in it. Allowed me to get a pretty good head start. When I got done looting the village, I ended up picking up some blocks. That way I could go ahead and surround this gold block. And of course, I looted this chest here. I'd say it actually had some pretty decent things in it. Allowed me to get a little extra food because the village didn't have much. Also allowed me to complete the nether portal. Now I'm going to start crafting some of the things I needed. I figured it'd be best to have a diamond sword and a diamond pickaxe. That way I didn't have to try to use iron to mine any gold. Here I'm collecting some extra food, and the reason I'm doing this is because also in previous runs I kept dying because I didn't have enough food. As you saw, I killed the iron golem, and I figured it'd be best to go ahead and make a shield and a bucket. Once I got in the nether, it kind of looks a little sucky, but it's actually really good. I ended up picking up as much gold as I could. I was trying to find a piglin to trade with, but unfortunately I didn't get that lucky. While I'm taking the time to get more gold, I was going to go ahead and talk about some of the things with this map. I actually did not find this. It was a seed that I found on TikTok. I will leave that link in the description. Other than that, the seed is also really good. As you saw, there was a village and a ruin portal right next to spawn, with everything you needed to get into the nether really quickly. Once you get into the nether, you can't tell it yet, but there are also like all biome types. As you're going to see here shortly, there's a nether fortress like right next to you. And then not just that, around the back side of the fortress, there is a warped biome. And if you continue on past that, there's a crimson biome. Back in the overworld, the stronghold actually happens to be underneath the village. So overall, the seed is a really good speedrun seed. Now that being said, I wouldn't base this off of how I did this run, because I know I have a lot of room for improvements. And if you happen to have any tips or tricks, make sure to leave them in the comments. It would have been nice if I had seen him before he gotten up here, because it would have been nice to block him off and use him for trades. But unfortunately, I did forget to grab those 2 gold blocks in the overworld, and I didn't craft any gold bars, so I knew he was kind of screwed, so I just went ahead and killed him. Now this piglin I did actually happen to hear, so I took the time to go ahead and craft up some gold bars. But as you'll see here shortly, I actually had a lot of struggles with this one. Now there's going to be a jump cut. I didn't realize I actually cut it out in editing, but what ended up happening was I blocked him off and I hit him thinking that would aggro him and make him trade faster, but I did not realize that was not the case. And then after I figured that out, gas spotted me and blew my hole apart, and the piglin jumped out and I actually almost died to him. Now the entire time I was in the fortress, because of how many attempts I had actually tried before, I was really cautious and I did not want to die again. So I know I could have done this a whole lot faster. If you guys happen to have any tips on what to do here, please leave them in the comments. Right here I actually get super lucky by not hitting that piglin. Now, like I said before, I had actually done this run many times before. I just kept dying, so I actually knew where everything was. Thankfully, there was a spawner pretty close by me. Now, of course, I stayed here at the spawner so I can get as many blaze rods as I needed, which in this case, because I knew how many eyes were on the portal, I only needed 5. Now, unfortunately, they didn't drop too many while I had my potion of fire resistance on, so I actually had to stay, but I was being real cautious here because I didn't want to die again. While I was looking around early in this run, I actually happened to spot this, like, cave or alcove, so to say, and I figured it'd be best to actually try to kill the Enderman right here instead of pillaring up in hopes that I can find some. It actually happened to work out very well for me. Now, I did end up getting one more pearl than I actually needed, so I ended up keeping it instead of it converting it to an ender eye because I knew where the portal was and I knew exactly how many eyes I needed. As soon as I saw that ghast, I figured the run was going to be over here. I knew I had something to relight the portal, but I figured I'd die in the process. So thankfully, they didn't see me, and I actually happened to have a shield. Now this is the part that I was talking about earlier. This is going to look super sketch because I'm going to mine directly down to the portal room. But as I had said, I'd probably tried this somewhere around 20, 25 times. Figured out exactly where it was, and just dug down from there. Here I lit the portal and actually used some time to make some more gear just because I actually happen to have some gold left over from trying to trade but not being successful and cleaning up my inventory. Now this part here actually looks like a mess. I can explain. Originally I was going to try to place water inside of the portal and just sit there because one of my closest runs up until this point, I ended up losing it because Enderman teleported right over me. And of course that aggroed him. But as soon as I put it in the portal, I realized that I wouldn't be able to jump. So I said, you know what, screw it, pick it back up and we're just going to do it this way. Now I know there's a faster way to kill the dragon, but every time I got close I was having issues with trying to place the beds or even one cycling the dragon due to the fact that anytime I looked up or down I would make eye contact with the Enderman and they would end up killing me. Whether that was placing beds or shooting it with a bow, no matter what I did I would end up dying. So I figured I'd just take the long run on this one and actually just slowly kill it with the sword. Now, does anybody happen to have any tips or tricks for not looking at Endermen? Now, I know you could do a pumpkin, but I didn't want to hinder my vision. And for whatever reason, it was just almost every time I entered the end, I would end up dying to the Enderman. And here it is, my first official speed run. I finished out with a total of 31 minutes and 46 seconds. I have a lot of room for improvement, so if you happen to have any tips or tricks or knowledge on speedrun or maybe a mechanic that could help me, make sure to leave it in the comments. And I'll see you in the next one.